Very good evening and welcome to Power News. I'm Juhi Rajput. In today's episode, we're going to discuss Jharkhand's power scenario and its preparation to meet future power demand. To discuss the same, we have been joined by Mr. Mukhtiar Singh, Chairperson, Jharkhand State Electricity Regulatory Commission. Mr. S.N. Verma, Chairman, Jharkhand State Electricity Board. Mr. M.J. Xavier, Director, Indian Institute of Management, Ranchi. Mr. Naresh Goyal, President, Power, Adhunik Power and Natural Resources. Mr. Sanjay Sharma, Plant Head, Patratu, Jindal Steel and Power Limited. Mr. Vinod Kumar, Executive Director, CESC. Mr. Prabir Neogi, Executive Director, CESC. And Mr. A.K. Saxena, Convener, CII Environment Committee, Jharkhand. Good evening and welcome to Power News. Well, I'd like to start this discussion with Mr. Verma. Mr. Verma, Jharkhand has a very peculiar situation where we have 1600 megawatt of electricity demand and supply is almost 1600 megawatt from JCB's own resources, private DVC and its share from center allocation. But most of the cities of the state are facing 10 to 12 hours of power cut. How do you explain this situation?
No, basically you are right that the demand of the state is around 1600 megawatt. We are matching with that figure and so we must get all the state's corner with complete power in the 24 hours. But it is not happening, that is true. But you must know that the transmission system is not, the whole jacket is not there in the all far-flung area of the Jharkhand. That is the bottleneck. And we have a very promising scheme which has gone to the power grid for 1310 crores. They will be going for all big transmission system. So that's 400 kV and 220 kV to connect all such substations, which will definitely affect that rural electrification also.
Mr. Sharma, what would you like to say?
The evacuation of power is the main concern. I would say that we should have something like the road concept, outer ring road, then inner ring road. So there's a national grid and then connected to the state grid and then the state grid connected to us for all the places so that the evacuation of the power is possible. And in times of crisis, the vice versa is also true. We can also merchant power, we can also wheel power. So this way I think if we can do it, it will be the best and the fastest solution possible.
Mr. Singh, we want to know that what is the current status of power sector reform process in the state of Jharkhand?
You will be glad to know that Jharkhand is one of the state which constituted the commission under the 1998 Act itself. 2003 Act came later on. Obviously now the commission is working under this Act. And whole, I would say the regulatory regime on various facets of the electricity industry are in place. Jharkhand is the only state in the entire country where parallel license is existing. And I would say the experience of a parallel license is excellent in the sense the services of the two licenses in that area have improved, the consumers are very happy, the productions have gone up. So the competition which is expected, which is envisaged in the Act itself, competition is showing the results. Private players are in the area now. The plants are coming up and as Mr. Verma has pointed out, transmission network is being developed and I am sure, as he rightly pointed out, there will be a time very soon when 24/7 power will be available to all areas of Jharkhand.
Well, one of the major reasons for poor financial health of JSEB is higher AT&C losses, which are in tune of almost 35% now, which includes both commercial and technical losses. What is JSEB doing in order to reduce its technical and commercial losses?
We have two things we have to maintain, that is the quality, means the frequency and the voltage and the continuity. When you are maintaining this, you will have to see first that the theft is not there. You will have to have an average loss of the country that is around 20% we have to reach. Well, we have done in 1 year past. In complete 1 year, we have gone from 46% to 34%. Something which has increased the revenue tremendously per month for JSEB. We are strong enough to hold it, JSEB now. But still I feel that long way to go and we have to reach 20%.
And we have seen that in the last 6 months, the distribution network has improved considerably. The power supply position has also improved. Having said that, I thought that there would be a few processes that will need to be put in place. What we have seen, there is a spring in the steps as far as JSAB is concerned, but then any reform process would have three separate limbs. One is revisiting the commercial process, simplifying the new connections, and improving the meter to cash cycle management. So that's one which will protect JSAB's revenue in times to come. Two is how do we plan, manage, and improve our network. So that is where the investments come in. And last but not the least is how do we practice our HR policies and how do we make the organization ready for change so that the customer also finds a benefit in the process transformation that's taking place in JSAB.
Mr. Singh, let's take your views on this.
We have to give connections to the people. We must simplify the procedure. Not everybody is interested in theft or stealing power. Some are compelled because the system is such that they are not able to get the connections. Commissions time and again through directives, through proceedings, is insisting on all the licensees that the consumer must get the connection within the time frame. 30 days time is given if the line is there and every infrastructure is there. Otherwise, this electricity is such a basic infrastructure, if we don't give connections, is bound to use it somehow or the other.
Poor distribution network is a major cause of concern resulting into heavy technical losses. There is an urgent need to improvise and upgrade the system, and this will require huge capital investment in terms of technology and equipment. Does JSEB have enough funds to meet the requirement of capital expenditure for distribution system improvement?
You see, it is very important to have a distribution network that strong, that it gets you the power and with zero cut. That is important. And we have taken that task very seriously. It is very old distribution system, as old as 50 years, those conductors and poles and insulators. They are being changed with synthetic insulator, with high capacity conductors. You must be knowing that there is a scheme of APDRP and RAPDRP schemes of Government of India that is basically for distribution system. So we are making our data center. It is almost ready now. Now we are geared up and we are doing it. In this section, many sections have been changed and now we are getting the result also. The realization factor of power was 147 crores when I joined here in 1st of June 2011. Today it is more than 200 crores. So we have reached around 70 crores increase in per month, which is commendable, which is everywhere the people are seeing that. And JSB is strong enough to repay all such power cost which we are taking for Jharkhand people. Now when you talk of schemes, it is all funded by the Government of India, RAPDRP scheme, APDRP scheme, this is all funded by Government of India. And we have our government support, state government support, to handle our ADB schemes, the annual planning schemes. So there is no dearth of money.
In fact, the whole JSEB has been galvanized after his arrival. I must admit that on his arrival, the inflow of money, what he told in our CII meeting, that he is paying back the old dues, not the accumulated dues, but he has started paying back to CCL, to DVC. The money has started flowing. The reason, because the TND losses have been cut down from 45 to 34, and once they go to 20, I think his aim and imagination and whatever he wants to do for the JSEB and for the state will get realized.
Well, some remarkable changes have been observed in the state power sector. Submission of annual revenue requirement for tariff revision, auditing of the accounts have also been done. JCB, in fact, JCB completed annual accounting for last 6 years time period in just 1 year's time, and tariff petitions are now being filed regularly. How could this be achieved?
Of course, JCB has made some sincere efforts, and I would say last year even Commission through tariff has given some, I should say, cushions to increase their revenue. Of course, JCB, as all of us know, you can say partitioned from BACB, so accounts not there. But I would check with the rigorous exercise, 10 years accounts have been framed, audited, submitted, and the commission is on the job. The tariff is likely to come any day.
Mr. Kumar, let's have your reaction.
You would have heard of the states where the revenue which the state has or the DISCOM has to pay to the power producer has run into thousands of crores. You know, the situation has come where the power producer cannot pay, cannot generate power. What went wrong with the regulatory reforms and what went wrong with the distribution setup? This is not, if things are not looked at and found out, this is going to repeat in other states also.
We'll continue this discussion, but after this short break. You stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Power News. And in today's episode, we're discussing Jharkhand's power scenario. Mr. Kumar, land acquisition is a major concern of the private developers. What has been your experience in the state, and what would you like to suggest for smoothing the process in the state?
You need land, you need water, you need fuel, and you need the evacuation capacity. Now, in all such cases, land, water, basically the state has to support, where you can't buy land directly. For example, in our case, CSC, we are putting up a plant in Tumka, which comes under the South Parna Act, as an example, where I can't buy land, so I have to depend on the state to give me. There are many such issues. There are forest covers.
Mr. Xavier, what should be the government's and private companies' approach towards the R&R policy? As for farmers, land is the only source for their income and livelihood. And if that is taken for development work, with some minimal compensation, they live with no option but to become labor. Don't you feel that some skill development or job employment should also be planned for these landowners?
Yeah, it's a complex issue. For example, their livelihood depends upon the area where they live, whether it is a forest or it is the land they depend upon. So the moment you displace them, we think progress, and they think you are taking away their livelihood. So it's not a very easy issue. You cannot say that I'll give you a job so you are taken care of. It's not a that simple kind of a solution, because they don't have alternate kind of skills, and for generations they have lived on the forest or lived on the income from the land and so on and so forth. So one has to really have a long-term strategies in terms of giving them education, upgrading their skills. So it has to be a statewide overall kind of a growth plan, so that when you go for these projects, these people could be gainfully employed.
The problem arises is their inefficiency as far as whether it is lack of education or lack of technical expertise. For that, what we are now doing is we have also set up our own ITIs, where we are grooming up these people. Construction sector, there is an acute shortage of skilled manpower. Every place where you find, there is a scarcity of them, and the job is getting affected. So therefore, this is the three major areas where we are focusing on giving them a training, which will be a short-term training, and then we enhance the total workforce availability. So this way, and today, even with whatever meager we have been able to start only 2 rolling mills so far, about 1,100 local people have already been employed there by us. That means if you multiply by 5, something about 6,000 plus people are already getting some advantage because of one industry there.
If you do not train them and if you do not develop their skills through vocational training and other training, then they will, whatever money they get by, if you take their land, they will spend it, and then after some time they are back to square one. So our thinking is that we should do substantially to improve the training of this lot And even the lumpen proletariat, as they say, the youngsters who are without jobs, they must be identified and they should be trained so that they can earn their livelihood, and this gainful employment is what can take us forge us ahead.
Mr. Goyal, what are your views?
As rightly said by the Sanjay Sharma ji, ki this whenever any new plant is coming up, social people has to take on with you. Then only you can go far. Then in this like Adhanik, we did it. Around 500 acre land we have purchased. That is through only the private negotiations only. So far we have not got any government land. And that is, we have gone only through what the dialogues we are having with the local villagers. Apart from the one is the employment. Other than the employment, we have given their other livelihoods also, like development skills, then some contractorship, what the job they can do it, formation of village development committees, formation of societies. So they are also feeling if the plant will come, they are also part of the plant. So today also they feel if the plant will come, then their livelihood will be much better, what earlier they are having. That is one part. Another is, suppose we are going to synchronize our machine in the month of the September. Our first unit of the 270 megawatt is going to be synchronized. They are also now for the reform of the power. We are having the, suppose, coal availability for the 2 million ton. But our requirement is the 2.8 million ton, suppose. But with that, we are having only 80% of the coal. So now there are also some state government has to do something, so that at least when the plant will come up, we should run our plant with the 100% PLF. Otherwise, it will be not be possible. That can help from the central government. We have got the coal, but best balanced coal has required to be supported by the state government also, so that our plant can run on the 100%. Definitely, as for the MOU, we have to give the power 25% power to the state government only. So that is also required.
Mr. Verma, let's take your views on this.
The JSCB itself has got 3 coal blocks dedicated to JSCB, and we have planned to open it up. And we are trying that, and one of the coal block, that is Urma Pahadi, it has come to the tenders, and very soon we are going to finalize it. And as we are doing one, the TVNL is also doing one. We are doing 3, but they are all in pipelines. JMSDC also doing some of the coal blocks, so that they will be feeding it to the IPPs also. So the future is good. It is obvious. It is looking that we will be having that coal also in future. One coal block, if you open it, takes around 3 years to come up, to supply coal to the destination. It has started. It has come to that point. Now you have to see future. That coal is there. You can very well feed your power plants which are to come in.
Well, coal crisis is leading to increase in power tariff, and as a result, the fuel surcharge is being passed on to the consumer. What do you have to say?
And there are 2 boxes. See, one box is that is dealing with imported coal altogether. Right. The other box is totally dependent on domestic supply. Now, nobody was sure or confident of domestic supply at this stage, mainly because, it was not thought about. Initially, when the linkages were given, they were for the full capacity of the plant. Now, today, what is being committed is just about 65%. Now, what does the developer do with this gap? So, he's now got to lean back on imports. And that's where he is getting stuck by the rising prices in the international market. So, I guess that while, yes, it's indeed a national issue, there has to be some kind of a reasoned judgment that should go into the economics of cost of power.
Mr. Singh, let's take your views on this.
When somebody signs a PPA, he has to visualize all the situations, and then only the prices are quoted. Otherwise, there is no sanctity of the, you can say, quotations and signing the PPAs. Gain is yours, loss is somebody else. That cannot happen. Both things have to be taken together. The regulatory frame cannot be worked out because somebody has not visualized something. When policies are laid down, the regulatory framework has to work with those, you could say. Otherwise, the whole policy sanctity is lost.
It's not a question of visualizing. It's a question that some assumptions are taken when you are signing any agreement. those assumptions can also be listed out. And if you are listing out that these are the assumptions, and on that premise, a rate can be fixed, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Giving you a simple example, last 7 months, at least 19 times the pricing of petrol and diesel has hiked up. We have added an escalation clause which is regulated because of the rate of the crude in the international market. Based on that, we have added an escalation clause for the petrol and diesel hike. To what extent it will affect our particular business in which that transporter is getting worked up. So the same thing can also be worked up here also. And that would be a very practical way of handling the situation.
In a regulatory mechanism, we do keep in mind the price of coal as well as the auxiliary fuel. And whenever the prices go up, then the fuel surcharge, in the shape of fuel surcharge, the generating companies are allowed the, you can say, increase in the prices. This mechanism is there because the tariff is determined through regulatory regime. In the earlier situation which we were talking, it was a through tariff determination through bidding process, and in that the regulatory regime does not figure. Yeah. That's why I said that issue, and I also pointed out that it is a national issue, and obviously the people concerned are at the top.
Mr. Kumar, let's have your reaction.
A time has come where we can see that for the next 3 to 4 years, imports are unnecessarily evil. You cannot avoid imports. Otherwise, the whole country will come to a standstill. So for this period, till the coal supply from the Coal India Limited improves to the desired level, you have to tweak, sir, with the regulatory regime. And you are right, sir, it has to be done by the center. Some kind of policy has to come where fuel cost has to be made pass through. And when I said initially that CERC should set up a committee and look at each plant, where are they sourcing the fuel from, and the fuel pass-through is allowed, then you know that this plant has to have this rate. And that means temporarily bringing all such plants into the regulatory regime, even though they have been operating under the tariff bidding route.
Mr. Xavier, would you like to add?
Coal availability itself, if, for example, if we can control the shrinkages, or the losses, I think we will have enough surplus. I mean, every day when I go for a walk on Kake Road, there are so many people smuggling coal and just bicycles. And you know, you dig 8 feet, there are so many places you get coal in Jharkhand. But then, you know, how much of it reaches the, right hands? So much of power is produced, but how much of it reaches the end consumer? I think the shrinkage is a major factor here.
Well, we'll quickly slip into another short break here. Keep watching Power News. Welcome back. You're watching Power News. And in today's episode, we're discussing Jharkhand's power scenario. Mr. Verma, Jharkhand has 2 old plants, Tenughat and Patratu Thermal Power Station. What are your future plans for the renovation, modernization and further expansion?
We have decided for 1320 megawatt means supercritical 616 to 2 at Patratu. And for that already the consultant is there, again PFC. They are making the document, and we would like to have in case 2 bidding where the water is available, land is available with us, and coal is also available. So we are preparing the paper, and within 3 months it will be in the NIT form, and we will invite the big investors to come for 1320 megawatt at Patratu. Rest of the Patratu, I must tell you that we have 10 machines already available, well, quite old. But today the technology has come that we must renovate the machine, and we have started already, and we are now running with 3 machines, and now the newly added is 10 number machines from BHEL. They are doing it, and for 100 megawatt, which is making us comfortable in the power scenario. The other is again offing the 9 number machine, which is again 100 megawatt, 110 megawatt machine, which will come within 2-3 months. So Patratu is completely on revival.
There's only 8-9% of hydropower generation in this state. So what about Koel Karo project? Are you planning to take up that project or not?
Yes, it is under planning, but see the Koel Karo land and the complete colony area and some of the working area also, it was handed over by NHPC to the government, and I have already written to the government that it should be given back to us because we are planning to go for a base load. Well, when it was designed for 710 megawatt from NHPC, it was for the peaking requirement. And peaking requirement for eastern grid has gone. So we can plan for Koel Karo a base load station of 200 to 400 megawatt. The complete DPR is ready with NHPC. I am with talk to NHPC chairman also regarding this, that we can join hands and we can go for a base load station of 225 megawatt to 400 megawatt, where we can see that the submergence should be the minimum.
Well, if you talk of distribution franchisee, then JSEB is planning to bring distribution franchise in all the major cities, Tata, Dhanbad and Ranchi. I'd also like to know whether they're going to invest in distribution system improvement, work and IT-enabled services also.
We are planned to have distribution franchisee also in the three major cities of Jamshedpur, Dhanbad and Ranchi, and it is offering because it is already in tenders in the NIT stage, and this will change the scenario because this will be cost effective, number one, and that will be prompt maintenance will be there in the far-flung area also. Because if you do it, the side by side, we are doing the complete electronic system of your data center and remote metering, which will be in place side by side when the distribution franchisee will start their work. So it will facilitate both the system, and then you will find that the strongest distribution system is available in Jharkhand.
Since we're discussing power sector reforms, there's one thing that we should discuss here, and that is unbundling. As per the Electricity Act 2003, Electricity Board must unbundle into three separate entities, that is Genco, Transco and Discom. But even after more than 24 time extension, unbundling has not been done in Jharkhand so far. What do you have to say about it? Why JSAB has not unbundled till now?
You see, the unbundling process is on because the consultant is in place. The Power Finance Corporation has been selected for that job, who has done for other states also, and recently for Bihar. They are doing the presentations. They wanted some data related to the pension schemes and your family pension schemes, which were difficult to achieve from the distant places, because it is not the whole JSEB ledger has not been computerized yet. Well, I am in the process now, I am doing it. But it is not that everything is on the tips and you can give it to in the computer sheet to them that it is available. It took some time, and finally we have made it. It has gone to the PFC, and the final presentation they have made it to Chief Secretary regarding the unbundling. And I believe within a month or so, they will be coming with the proposal that we have already finalized, that 3 companies will be distribution, transmission and generation would be there, and one holding company which will take care of the finances of all such companies. So it is offing, it is coming very soon, but we have been given time up to 31st of December. We believe that we will be doing it within that period.
With this, we've come to an end of this discussion. I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining us in Power News. Thank you so much.